it stands today, I currently have $107,286.01 worth of student loans and $47,623.26 worth of credit card debt. And I will say that my credit card debt is not a result of me being irresponsible and a woman in her 20s taking all of the trips that she wants. I was in grad school and could not work. And I have also been working for myself since March of 2022. And for those of you who work for yourself, you know that some years, some months are better than others. And the bills come every single month and they have to get paid. And so we're here and life happens. So I wanted to say that so that no one feels the need to judge me or anything like this. I am making this video not to garner any pity, but for two reasons. For anyone who might be in the similar situation so that you know you're not alone, and because I want to be able to look back at this video after God has paid off my debt and has put me in a home and has answered a lot of these prayers that I am praying to him. So I am thankful that in the midst of everything that I have going on, God has shown me unmerited favor and grace. Since I left work full-time in March of 2022, his grace has been sufficient, and I have been able to keep up with every single one of my monthly payments, all of my bills. I've been able to, after paying tithe and putting money aside for taxes and paying my bills, I've still been in a position to save, to invest in my small businesses, and to help other people. So I do thank God that no matter what I've gone through in these last few years, he is walking through them with me. So I thank him every single day for that grace. When I was preparing to pay back, to enter repayment for my student loans, I wanted to sign up for an income-driven repayment plan. For those who have student loans in the United States, you might be familiar with what I'm talking about. I was able to consolidate 10 out of the 14 loans themselves automatically qualified for the SAFE plan. 4 of them I had to consolidate to a direct loan so that they could also qualify for that income-driven repayment plan. I went through the entire consolidation process. It was approved. And then I took a look at my credit score. It tanked my score 76 points just by having all of those loans be rerun through my credit report. And that really hurt. I was at the higher 600s and now I'm sitting at a 594. So credit's taking a hit, finances taking a hit. The enemy is attacking my mental and my physical health. It seems like everything's happening at once, but I thank God that all hope is not lost, because everything that the enemy has been sending my way and has been trying to use for evil, like Romans 8:28 says, God is using for good. Because back in September of 2023, when he attacked my physical health and was hoping it would draw me further away from God, it actually drew me closer to God. And similarly, last month I struggled. I was wrestling with God mentally about some things that I had been going through, and God gave me a sound mind and he gave me peace of mind. And that instance also drew me closer to him rather than further away from him. And so I hope that this is hope for you who might be going through it and are a believer yourself, that he sees you and that he cares and that he is considering everything that is keeping you up at night. So where do I go from here? I'm sharing this video today. Today I might be in this position, but the hope is, the prayer is to be able to come back and make another video and say, hey friends, God has paid off my debt. He has me in a home and I'm living in these answered prayers. Help me give him glory. That's really why I'm making this video. I've put it off for very long, and he wants me to be transparent on this platform. When I started this channel, he wanted me to be vulnerable and transparent and form a community where we can grow and share our testimonies, what God has brought us through and the work he's currently doing in and through us. So that's why I had to put my pride aside and make the video, but I know that this is not where it ends. So I feel like I'm back to the drawing board, because I felt like for so many months I was failing at adulthood. Not only am I in so much debt, I still live with my sister. I'm almost 30. And if you live in America, you know, it seems like you have to sell a kidney to be able to afford to live on your own in these trying times. And with my current debt and my responsibilities, it's not something that I can do right now. And I had to give myself a lot of grace for it, because this is coming from someone who has a graduate degree, and I work a really good job outside of my small businesses that I'm building from the ground up. I get paid really, really well when I have work. And so I can imagine that it's a lot harder for other people who might not be in a similar situation as me. So it's gotten me to reassess my priorities. What really is important, and what should I be spending my energy and my focus on? And that's my relationships. First and foremost being my relationship with God, but then my relationships with my family, with my friends. My health is also of utmost importance to me now, making the necessary lifestyle changes to live and lead a healthier life. And then finally, financial security. So a lot of you join this channel because I am really transparent about the side hustles that I do to be able to earn extra income to supplement my income. And I still intend to bring a lot of that into this channel a little bit later on as I clear some things off of my plate. And if you've been with me long enough, you also know that a few years ago, I applied to and did not get into medical school. So that's also something that I am working on. So if you haven't seen my face in a while, there really is a lot going on. And I'm really trying to hone in and focus on what I really need to work on and give it my all. So I'm at a place now where not only am I reassessing my priorities, I feel like I'm back to the drawing board. Since my last application cycle to medical school, I feel like there have been lots of obstacles in my way to become a physician. And so I had to go back and say, well, God, did I hear you correctly? Are you in support of me doing this thing? Are you backing me up? And so I'm back to the drawing board with a lot of things. And I say this because of two things, a devotional that I completed earlier on in the year and a video that I had seen. So the devotional was by Craig Groeschel, and it was about discerning the voice of God. I'm at a place where I'm asking God a lot of questions, and I need to be able to hear what he's saying in response to those questions so that I might be able to obey. And one of the things that stood out to me in that devotional was, when you come and ask God for something, be sure that you're sitting still and listening to the full set of instructions he has for you in that moment before you rush off to obey. At the same time, while I was reading this devotional, working through it, I was also reading through the creation story again, and, you know, the Israelites' enslavement in Egypt, their exodus from Egypt, and shortly thereafter, all the way through Noah and the flood. And there's something that stood out to me. When God calls his people to do something, he gives them specific, very specific instructions. And I, for one, love getting very specific instructions. Like, for instance, the tabernacle. When they were given instructions on how to build the tabernacle, they were given instructions about what to include in the tabernacle, how to build every single part of the tabernacle. And the Israelite people had all that they needed to make it happen. They had the skilled laborers. They had all the material. They had everything that they needed to make that happen. Fast forward to Noah's story. Had he not sat down and listened to the dimensions that God gave him for this ark and to cover it on the inside with pitch, he would have drowned, or the ship would have sunk, and it would not have been big enough to house all of the animals God had instructed him to bring in with him, as well as the provisions that they would need to be in this ark for over 100 days. So in that moment, God revealed something to me. When we sit and we listen to only part of the instructions and then we rush off to obey so eagerly, there's a lot of frustration. Like, for instance, if God gives you a vision for something and he gives you an instruction for something in a specific season in your life, and if you sat and listened to the entire thing that he had for you in that moment, you would realize that it's not something that's going to take 2 to 3 weeks, 2 to 3 months. This is going to be years in the making. So when it's actually taking this long, you're not frustrated, like, why am I still walking through this? So that really stuck out to me because I've been feeling really, really frustrated. So I'm now back to the drawing board, asking God these questions, asking Him to make the answers abundantly clear for me, and also asking Him for the courage to obey. So I'm genuinely really optimistic. All hope is not lost. I know that my life might look like this today, but tomorrow He has something else for me. And so all I'm responsible for right now is positioning myself to be able to hear Him and to obey and walk in alignment. And so that's really what I'm doing, praying and asking Him for guidance, for Him to clarify for me what it is He has for me, what it is He wants me to do in this season, and to help me to obey and to keep these priorities at the forefront of my mind when I'm working through some of these things. So I hope that this was motivating for you. It gave you hope again that God sees and cares for you as much as He cares for me. And I am prayerful that one day I'll be back on this channel to share with you all that God did it, and He did it in a way that I would have never been able to imagine. And He did it in a big way. So I'll be asking you all at that point to help me thank Him and glorify Him. So I do hope that you consider subscribing to this channel. There's a lot more like this coming, and I do hope to be able to grow this community on here to share more with you all, to and for God's glory. But until then, I'll see you in my next video.